Hi. I was just gonna ask your relationship with Ron Harper's dad, how far that goes back or how well you know him. And on a similar note, did you know anything about Ron Harper Jr.'s game before you got to Maryland or watching Rutgers film?
Ron Harper and I, very good friends. I believe I played the most games of my career with Ron as my teammate. So we're very good friends, very good friends. And yes, I knew of Ron Harper Jr. before I got to Maryland, just because of Ron Harper. And last year being on ESPN, I had a chance to cover a lot of Rutgers games as well. So have a level of familiarity and comfort, and proud to see the way that I can't call him Little Harper's playing, but he's playing really well.
Matt Gilpin.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you about the EGBs that you've kind of instilled in this team since your time here, and how exactly your guys have bought into that and what exactly you're instilling into them.
For us, EGBs is, a lot of times you hear coaches say, go make a winning play. And, a lot of times players equate a winning play to dribbling the basketball 5 or 6, 7 times and shooting a double step back, double pump fake shot that goes in. Hey, it went in, winning play, right? We won the game. So this is just another way to break down a winning play. And it's a lot of the things that don't show up in the stat sheet. It's deflection. It's being in the right spot defensively. It's communicating to your teammates. It's obviously getting stops, getting rebounds. It's a hockey assist because you get the play started. It's a ducking assist if you're a big guy or you're in the post area and you create space for a guard to get to the bucket. It's a keep alive assist where you go to the offensive glass and you keep the ball alive. It's a keep alive assist defensively when you make an extra rotation or multiple effort play defensively. So all of these things go into winning ball games, and we're just trying to put some definitions on them, if you will, and actions that they can see translates into helping us be successful as a team. And the more EGBs we have, the better chance of success that we have. And our guys see it, and they're really buying into it. And it's something that we talk about on a daily basis. And it gives you energy. I mean, that's what it is, energy generating behavior. It creates energy, it creates juice for your team. And that's something that you need to have throughout the course of the ball game. And then you carry it over a little bit further. When you're on the bench, all the guys are talking about EGBs. And so now you come out of the game and you're playing and say you're a little fatigued or you're tired, you can use the EGBs on the bench as a fueling station to get your juices back up, because you're talking EGBs to your team that are mates that are out there on the court. And so we feel like it helps us all across the board.
Alex Flum.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
All right.
I think Eric said it pretty well the other night that he felt tired after that Northwestern game. As the team, I guess the first kind of joke of a question is, the team recovered? Is 3 days rest enough for this next one?
Well, you should be tired after every game. I don't care if it's 40 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. If you're out there playing, you should be playing until you push yourself to that point, and then you ask for a break, and then you come out. And, the double overtime game is 10 extra minutes of basketball in the big scheme of things, right? Yes, there's more effort you have to expend. There's more mental energy that you have to lock in and focus into. But these guys are young. They're young. It's be different if they were my age and they were trying to come back and play a game. But they're going to bounce back. They'll be okay. I mean, even today in practice, we had a good practice today because we were pretty much off yesterday. And so, right now, a lot of our guys are going through their recovery workout with Coach Tarp, getting their legs back under them. And tomorrow we'll come in and we'll have our final walkthrough and get ready to play. That's what you sign up for. especially in the Big Ten because of how the games are scheduled. This schedule is not anything new to anybody on our roster. We all looked at it, we all received it at the same time and realized that, once we get to this point, the longest break we might have, 4 days maybe? Other than that, it's probably every 3 days. So that's just kind of what the situation is.
And then another follow-up just about going into the Rutgers game. How much stock do you put into, this last game was your guys' first Big Ten win. How crucial is it to pick up on that and get 2 in a row here? I mean, obviously it's the next game, but how much stock do you put into let's get on a streak here?
The talk is let's continue with the momentum that we've created, right? And so that's the mindset. And you want to continue to go out and get better each time that you step out on the court. Obviously, we know that each game that we play is one less that we get, and we have to do a much better job with our record to get to where we want to go at the end of the year. So that's no secret, and we all understand that. But for us, it's one possession at a time. One possession at a time. Try to win that possession, then you move on to the next play. And that's just the mindset that we're adopting, and we want to have every time we step out there on the court.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dylan Spoko.
Hey, Coach. Rutgers has had a very up and down season with a few high quality wins and some tough losses. Is it kind of harder to scout a team that's going to give a very different version of itself on any given night?
No, Dylan, because we watch all the games. Right? You know what I mean? It's not like we only watch a couple games. So, as a staff, we'll watch and break down all the games that they play. We'll break down all the plays that they run offensively and defensively. And then from there, the analytics kick in, how many times they run it. You know what I mean? So things of that nature. So our guys will have a good feel for every opponent that we play, because we do breakdowns on each individual as well, along with the offensive sets and defensive sets. And that's what we're talking about. When we're describing a team to our team, we're giving them real information, because you can't give them fake information because it's too easy to pick up their phone or their tablet and find it out. So if we're going to tell you a guy's a shooter, then he's got to, his percentages have to say he's a shooter. Or if he's a shooter who's struggling right now, then we'll share that information, but he's more than capable. So, I mean, a lot of it is just making sure that our guys understand personnel, knowing who you're guarding. Is he a shooter? Is he a slasher? Is he a paint scorer? Whatever ID that we give him, understand that once we go out in the course of the ball game. And then having said that, Dylan, it all changes. It could be somebody that you ID as a slasher who would much rather drive the basketball than shoot it, but make a couple. Then all of a sudden you got to make an adjustment because now he's making shots. So a lot of it also changes throughout the course of the ball game.
Marcus Washington.
Hey, Coach, just kind of piggybacking on that. When you've watched films of Rutgers in the games that they've won and then the games that they've lost, because they've had some good wins and then some kind of losses there, what have you seen that's been a big difference of the things that they do well in those wins that they don't necessarily do well in those losses?
Marcus, not to, it's any team. It's not Rutgers. It's Maryland. It's Michigan. It's Kansas. It's Duke. You make more shots, right? At the end of the day, guys make more shots. So, you go back and you look at what Rutgers does when Gio shoots the way he shoots, or Harper Jr. the way that he shoots. Those guys, are shooting the ball exceptionally well, and they make tough shots. And that's just across the board. When guys get it going and they start making tough shots and they get their confidence going, they're hard to slow down. So you want to be disruptive with all the guys that have plays run for them, or all the guys that get up a lot of shots. You're not going to stop guys. They're too talented. They're too good. Coaches are too clever with the systems and sets that they run. You just want to make guys work for shots. You want to make guys shoot challenge shots. At the end of the game, you want those guys to be tired from having to work so hard to get those opportunities to score. And that's just kind of the mindset that you want to have. But, there's not going to be any shutdown moments where you're going to go out there and you're going to pitch a shutout against a guy who's a scorer. That's just not going to happen just because of the opportunities he's going to have to score, and his team being in a bonus and being able to draw fouls and get to the free throw line.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Josh Banner.
Yeah, hey coach. So some of the games, including the Northwestern game, which was pretty much an extreme version of it, but coming down to the wire, there's last minute plays. Sometimes, it doesn't go Maryland's way a lot of the time. I was wondering, are there any adjustments that you're making for those final minutes of the game?
A lot of it just depends on the flow of the game. A lot of it depends on who's in foul trouble. A lot of it depends on kind of what type of shot you need offensively. So, there are a lot of things that kind of just go into the gumbo of the end of the game coaching or end of the game changes that you make. A lot of it for us is, we'll watch film and there'll be certain plays we feel like we can run, but we don't want to run them until late in the ball game, because we know once we run it one time, the other coach is going to make an adjustment and you're not going to have another chance at it again. So all those things go into the thought process. But I think one of the biggest things is probably end of the games is foul situations. We were in a situation the other night where we're trying to win a game on the road, and it's kind of a juggling act for me and the coaching staff late in the game because Fats has 4 fouls, right? And so it's like, wow, Fats is a really important piece to our team. How are we going to handle this situation? Are we going to keep him in on defensive assignments? Are we going to go offense, defense? And a lot of that also depends on how many timeouts you have left. Because if he's out of the game and you don't have any timeouts left, it might be hard to get him back in the game. So a lot of it just comes down to feel and how things are being played out that particular night.
Any final questions for Coach, guys? Okay, thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you guys tomorrow.